It's no surprise that Hollywood and its celebrities are filled with corruption, but this one might take the cake. Today, folks, we're telling you about a scandal that is breaking that could break the entire entertainment industry. It's turning out that just as we get ready to shout out, hey, here comes the Trump administration, the Hollywood celebrities may have, well, pulled the wool over the entire nation, taking huge sums of money from the U.S. government in ways that they definitely should not have done so. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are so happy to have you here with us. Yet again, another video of excellence coming down the pipeline and straight to you. Downloaded to your device, and wherever you are, folks, we are the anti-vice that fixes the Holly weirds. Today, we're talking about a scandal that is brewing, that is breaking, and it may be taking many celebrities down with it, perhaps even large sums of the industry. We'll get to it, folks. We ask that you click the like button, and here is the panel. Here we go, folks. Take a look at this out of Digital Music News. It's a brand new website that we've never used before to cover the news, but the news it is indeed, and therefore there we are talking about celebrities. Here's what we've got from Ashley King. She released this December 18th, so it's hot, fresh, and ready to go. Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, Steve, DJ, Marshmello, that is, and others blew millions in COVID relief funds on lavish luxuries, parties, people in less than well-clothed situations, an investigation reveals. Here's what we found out, folks. It says a new investigation from Business Insider found that some artists, including Lil Wayne and Chris Brown, spent millions from a little-known pandemic relief program to cover luxury spending. Now, folks, the reason that we're not using Business Insider in this situation is because Business Insider is behind a paywall. We have an ethical obligation not to read the stuff behind a paywall, but apparently Digital Music News is doing it, so we'll just use them instead. Gray, fuzzy area? Maybe. The grant was meant to support the live entertainment industry, but ended up fueling massive pandemic relief fraud. The Paycheck Protection Program and Economic Injury Disaster Loans gave out around $200 billion in suspected false claims. Grantees received up to $10 million to spend on ordinary necessary expenses for their entertainment businesses, contingent on them making a good faith statement to the Small Business Administration, which oversaw the program. The statement had to prove that the grant was necessary to support the company's ongoing operations, and the company's revenue had fallen by at least 25% between one quarter in 2019 and that same quarter in 2020. Continuing on. But thousands of pages of accounting documents reviewed by Business Insider reveal how some wealthy musicians, including Chris Brown and Lil Wayne, spent the grants they received through the program. They reveal how artists spent millions in taxpayer funds, not toward their touring crew members and expenses, but toward their own bank accounts and luxury purchases. At a minimum, it smells, said former U.S. Comptroller General David Walker. Whether it's legal or not is up to a lawyer or ultimately to a court, but it sure smells. So what do they spend on? How did they use U.S. taxpayer money? These bajillionaire celebrities sitting on their diamond-crusted toilet seats and swimming in their mahogany-laced swimming pools? Well, Lil Wayne spent millions from the grant on private jet flights, clothes, and accessories from luxury brands like Gucci and Balenciaga, and billed taxpayers over $175,000 for expenses related to his own brands. Chris Brown spent his $10 million from the grant on his CBE touring company, with a $5.1 million going into his pockets. He also billed taxpayers nearly $80,000 for his 33rd birthday party. You know, I tried that. It didn't go well. I kid. That was Alan. So, panelists, it's just so lucky for these celebrities that they got the right kind of administration that won't look into this sort of thing for the next 4 years at all. They're just so lucky. Kevin, I'll start with you. What say you in regards to these celebrities who apparently decided that the average American taxpayer, who makes slightly less than them, is what I've heard, that it was their Kmart Blue Light Special opportunity to spend on lavish luxuries that the average person will never, ever, ever see, but the celebrities figured out how to run loops around the the U.S. government. What say you, sir?
Oh no, someone misspent COVID funds. I'm shocked that hasn't happened.
But can you believe it came from these who are so rich in Hollywood, though, Kevin? Can you believe it?
Come on. Aren't these the same people who are getting special sets of government-funded insurance for their multi-million-dollar mansions?
Hold on, let me check. Let me see the paperwork here. Hang on. Yes, that checks out. Yes, they are.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know. I don't want to get too political here, but I'm not shocked. Really, no one should be shocked. This is something that has happened and always happens and always will happen until people decide to start holding these folks accountable. And the big question is, okay, we know they did it. You didn't need an investigation to do it. Anybody with half a brain could have deduced it. What's going to happen to them? That's my question. Are there going to be any repercussions? Because there are some small businesses out here who maybe misspent $1 or $2 or didn't keep the best paperwork, and they got raked over the coals, and other people got away with bloody murder. So what's it going to be?
Listen, I'm with you. And I think the newsworthiness of what we're talking about right now is, and Alan, I'll go to you for this. I think that in particular, part of the calculus that celebrities and entertainment corporations had in backing Harris and being against Trump, and you can really make that more basic and just say being for the DNC versus the RNC or, what have you. I think part of that calculus is that one side of this is more interested in investigating Hollywood than the other side. And so it as a matter of just simple financials, it seems to me that Hollywood likely doesn't want to have a microscope placed over them, whether it's from the IRS or the Justice Department or what have you. So, Alan, do you anticipate that Hollywood is kind of clenching up right now a little bit and saying, "Oh man, we're really going to be held to the line"?
Gosh, are they going to feel that way? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the thing that frustrates me the most out of this is they'll all probably get away with it. They've taken our tax dollars or the money we're borrowing in order to pay for these programs. It goes. I know. I think when I applied for a PPP, I got 3,000. So it's a little off from the millions they got. And the other thing is, look, is it political? The test is if you swap out the players, would they be treated differently? If this was Matt Gaetz or if this was Ted Cruz who did this, the story would be very different. If it was Trump or Elon, the story would be very different. And that's the problem I have. That's my biggest frustration, is that it benefits one side and not the other.
Right.
It should be,
But I'll say this, Alan. Whichever side did it, and I would anticipate that both sides did this, although we can't get it down to the granular level of, saying, well, Elon did it or, Trump did it or DeSantis did it. Like, we don't know that. We have these names, but I would assume there are people on both sides. And I hope that on both sides, if they were spending this money lavishly this way at the cost of the American taxpayer, then they need to be held to account. And I hope that happens. But I'm like you, I'm not optimistic about it. But I'll just give you one more example. This is still out of Digital Music News. It says, artists like Lil Wayne didn't spend all the money on themselves. Over $2 million of his grant went to pay off a debt to his former manager, Cortez Bryant. All in all, around $5.3 million went to managers, accountants, and attorneys, which is still more than 13 times the amount he paid his touring crew. The Small Business Administration said in September it had recouped $43 million worth of grants, but that amount hadn't increased since July. Strangely, it's not clear how. A team was created to recover wrongfully awarded grants, but an organizational chart suggests that as of September, no staff had been assigned to it. Public records suggest $6 billion worth of grants remain under review for compliance with program rules. So I got a feeling, if you're one of those who was enjoying the slow walking of this, that might change in the next few weeks. But I also think, Vash, this is a reminder, as we look at how this got paid out for Lil Wayne, it's a reminder that for many of these celebrities, they don't operate in a vacuum. Their name and their iconography is associated with a huge team of people that manage them. And so they have their own LLCs, they have their own corporations that are dealing with them. And so sometimes it's a lot of people who are making a lot of money off of these kind of corrupt things. Now, I don't know if any of the people involved in this article and from this investigation from Business Insider are guilty. There's no way for me to know that. I'm not investigating them, but Business Insider is suggesting it, so we place it upon them to be telling the truth. Vash, your thoughts on Hollywood and the trouble that some of these people might be in, the celebrities especially, if it turns out that people were milking the government through them as a vehicle to do so?
Oh, well, if that's what they were doing, they should be pursued. But I'm sure, they've engaged in other things that maybe, the average Joe, maybe you come down on them pretty hard, but for them, maybe you look the other way because of some dealing that they've engaged in or another. It's quite interesting how the government, I think California just reported that they spent $24 billion on the homelessness issue, and who knows where that money went? I'm not sure where that money's gone. But even a couple of celebrities, obviously they have itemized things that they've claimed that COVID relief money for, and there's a tracking of that, which is quite interesting. So even private versus public, it's an interesting dynamic there for sure. I will say, handing out millions upon millions and millions and millions of dollars, or billions, I should say, for these COVID relief funds was probably a mistake. The whole COVID thing, the shutdowns, everything like that, I think people have kind of woken up to a lot of what actually happened there. But when you introduce so much money into an economy in which now you've rapidly increased demand while supply is diminishing, it's played economic havoc with the entire system. And so, yeah, I there's no doubt that a lot of these funds went to places that they shouldn't have. I do hope that the incoming administration, which, by the way, let's note that this was a kind of a Trump era policy. And obviously, he is looking to redefine his legacy in his second term. So there's an extra incentive there to pursue this and to pursue people who did abuse those policies back in that first term. So hopefully these things are pursued. Hopefully, there's some justice here. Hopefully some of this money, hey, can we get some of this money back and have it go towards things that, people could benefit from? I don't know, North Carolina, anybody? But we'll see.
Well said. And I sometimes think, cynically perhaps, that the fight against, the fight for DEI in Hollywood, the fight against Weinstein, perhaps even, I think that's often used as a vehicle to cover up the many sins that continue to exist throughout the industry. And when I was covering the story recently about Blake Lively and how she was treated allegedly during the production of her movie, I think there are still some major concerns that need to be addressed before we begin to look to the celebrities and the movie stars as symbols of virtue that we can aspire to be. That's just me and my cynicism. So I think that's where we'll leave that story for now, folks, but we will continue to follow it because it could be the beginning of many connections going forward. Like, we might find out there are quite a few additional individuals involved in this sort of thing. That would be unfortunate, but it just might be true. Often as we get ready to wrap these up, folks, you'll hear us say, keep learning, keep growing, keep having fun. And the reason we do it is because we appreciate you. It's true, we do. And we want you to have a good time. Thank you for giving us the great time of spending time with you. Folks, on the way out the door, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it and stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell, and drop a comment down below because you matter. Your thoughts matter. Who cares what the legacy corporate deadbeat media tells you? You really are important. And we're a testament to that. We wouldn't be here without folks just like you. And since we've said it, we'll say it once more. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.